Today I am, for once, taking on a suggested video. I got a suggestion talking about how I got into Warhammer 40,000 or 40k, and I thought this would be a nice little chit-chat story time video. This might be rather long, but I hope you will sit back, relax, and get a little bit comfortable. First of all, I did not have anyone in my family, friend, school that played Warhammer while I was growing up. This is an interest I found at this ripe age of 30, or well, a couple of years ago, so maybe closer to 25 maybe. But my story started off during university time, when I was studying for my degree. I did not have an extra part-time job, and I had quite an expensive apartment that I lived in, which was the same apartment that I had when I started this YouTube channel. Like, is it 3 years ago now? Might be. Time goes on so fast. During this time, I started second-hand shopping, like thrifting a lot. And that is how I made my income to have this break over summer while studying, so I didn't need to work during the summer, but I had my rent paid off for like 2 or 3 months before going back to study. I made a video a long time ago, and I feel like I'm cringing just thinking about rewatching older content of mine. I think that's pretty common, right? But I made I think it was in Swedish, how I make my money with this like Swedish version of eBay called Tradera. Anyways, I was selling clothes, books, a lot of like Swedish designer items, not like bags, but you know, mugs and cups, all of this very traditional decor, I would say. And I would buy anything that I would find that was worth quite a bit of money, and then I would sell it online. And I used to make in a year around $3,000, which covered rent for all summer, which was very good. And I started going to this one certain second-hand shop because they had a lot of books, and I used to find like anything, cooking books, old, I guess what you call them, like these coffee table books, you know, stuff like that actually sells, that people have an interest in. And I started finding a lot of Warhammer books at this one store, or you know, second-hand store, second-hand shop, maybe you call it. I guess now when I look back, someone just got done with their Warhammer interest or hobby and just thrown it away, or like left it into a second-hand store, I would say. So I started seeing all of these items, and I, as I do, take up my smartphone and started googling like, what is the retail price for all of these items. There were a lot of figurines, like the bigger ones, some tanks, war engines, stuff like that, and a lot of codexes. And I did not know anything about it, or well, I know it was a tabletop game. You know, I am a little bit on the nerdy side as a person. I do game a lot, but tabletop gaming was never my type of thing, since it is a very social thing to do. And I did not have a large group of friends while growing up. I was not a sociable person at all. I was very reclusive. I think you call it shut in. I stayed home and I came to like old nostalgic online games like Habbo and World of Warcraft, and I need to talk on that as well. It's a little bit hard for me rambling like off script, but I think it's kind of relaxing just doing this. I hope you enjoy it. So anyways, I paused up a couple of opportunities before just indulging like, okay, the Warhammer codexes are quite expensive at retail price, and they also sell for a little bit of money second hand. So I started off with these 2 codexes that I picked up, and I regret it to this day. I had been thinking about starting this channel even back then, but my mindset was all on World of Warcraft because I felt like, can I really branch out on my channel doing something else than I was thinking in the beginning? So I sold these, unfortunately, but I found the codex for the Thousand Suns and the Astra Militarium. Really beautiful. I think it was the really newer editions of them as well. And I bought them for like $1 or $2 each, and I sold them for $20 each, which was good money during that time. But I kept going to the same store, and I kept seeing more Warhammer items. Some I was really not sure on buying, like the larger unpainted figurines, because firstly, since they are second hand, are they complete? Were there missing parts? Would someone even like to buy them? Because they were bumping up the prices at this particular store. But then I found an item that I could not resist buying. And this item was a really beat up version of the core book, which I know it's not the latest one, probably, of the editions. And here you can see the top and the corners smashed up, broken, but it's a really heavy book. And I paid $10, I think, for this, and I thought I could double it, the price, and sell it for $20, even in its beat up condition. But once I got home, I could not resist, because this book is huge, it's thick, it's so large, and I felt so drawn to it. The art, the cover, all of it. I remember this has been not so long ago. So that evening I got home and I started reading this book. I have all of this nerdy interest like childhood toys, childhood video games, World of Warcraft. You know, I'm that type of person, so I felt very drawn to this. And this book just got me hooked, and I instantly regretted selling the codexes I had gotten hold of. This book contains like most of the very basic lore. Here is about the Dark Imperium, and I read this book before going to bed, like straight for a week. I was so like in love with the stories, the darkness, just how grime everything is in this universe. I think it is very fun finding new games, new stories, new universes that is very grown up, dark, gothic, and not too nice. I like this feeling of dread almost. And you know, being in interspace, all of that. So I kept this book for all these years. In some way it is very nostalgic for me, thinking about all those years ago when I used to do all of this. And I started this channel while still having these items, acquiring these items, and I have been thinking for such a long time making a video with the core book, but my issue is just the sheer size of it. But I started realizing, like now this year, that I need to be a bit nicer to myself and not being such a perfectionist. It is okay making a video non-complete. A couple of years ago I made like 2 videos with World of Warcraft, Brady game, strategy guides that I made into like part 1 and part 2 because they were too long to cover in one single video. And back then I also thought like, this will not be good for the algorithms for my channel. Maybe the viewers might not be interested in that. And now this year I'm used like, as long as I get some content out that I enjoy recording, it is all good. And this is a little bit of a sidetrack, but I am viewing my channel right now solely as a hobby. I cannot push myself doing this as a job, or you know, the algorithms after taking my break, like the ad revenue has tanked, and I'm really grateful for the support on Patreon, which makes me able to buy more items for the channel. But I need to just sit back, relax, and not think and stress about the state of my channel. If I just keep making videos, it might go back to what it once were, getting a little bit more ad revenue or something like that. And if it's not, it's just a hobby, and that is okay. But there's this one page in this book that I'm still in love with today, that I think completely sold me on this universe. And this is like a bit spread about Imperium that you can open up. But it opens up on both sides, and you can see the whole stellar map of some of the regions, and it is huge. This universe is amazing and so rich of the lore. So I really got into the different factions, the different stories, the lore. I've been seeing a lot of these pocket books with the stories, and just reading at the evenings brings me a lot of personal harmony. So that is how I got into the lore. As of yet, I haven't painted a single miniature figure of any Warhammer factions at all. I really wanted to get into the painting for ASMR reasons and for myself having some kind of creative outlet. Still, I have no community here where I live. I have no friends that are into the same type of games that I have, and I might need to look that up if there are like any gameplays you can game together at. Don't know. A little bit shy getting into that, you know, still a shot in a turret. But then I found at another thrift store a second-hand set of miniatures that are not complete. And I paid an overprice for it, but you are not allowed to look into the box if everything is there. And let me show you. This is the Recruit Edition starter set with the Space Marines and the necrons. And I read up a bit. The necrons are the easiest to paint if you're a newbie like me. As you can see, I paid 200 Swedish crowns for this, and it is not complete. The big box is a bit busted. It is missing a lot of parts, and I thought I would get this for myself as something to not figure out, but trying to practice paint, maybe you would say. It's missing the large, like, they call it lieutenants, like the head necron and the head space marine. So I used to have all the small little guys and their bases in this set. Let's open it up. This box came first of all with the recruit manual. It's a little bit bent, but it's fun getting into different stuff, how to paint, the lore. I still get all giddy about this, really happy. I think this is a hobby that will bring me a lot of personal excitement and joy, and that is what I enjoy about all these nerdy hobbies I have. It's bringing a lot of happiness into my own solitude. Then we have some of the plastic sheets with the parts for the Space Marines. I really wish I had long false nails for this. That would make great sounds. Unfortunately, I'm not really that feminine. All these little parts with this beautiful armor, beautiful textures. It is really making me excited. It's almost bringing out that childlike joy of trying something new, something exciting, having like a new game to try out. I really need to sit down and start assembling these, but as you might know, I'm still in the midst of renovating my apartment, and hopefully it's just a couple of months away until I'm done with that. Once I live there and have all my furnitures, I can start doing all of these nerdy things. So making ASMR videos with these is my next goal for this year. Here, as you can see, a lot of the necron parts has already been assembled by the previous owner. It's just a couple of weapons, some few models left. Still missing the head squad leaders. Just trying out assembling and painting. I think that is something good for me. Now when I'm looking into the box, I'm realizing I might have fooled you or fooled myself. But there are some already complete figures that might be the squad leaders or not. Use some necrons, some space marines. But having some already made models is really, really cool. So I can actually get into painting, buy some paints and try it out. And this, I know, don't get triggered at me, I'm sorry, but it's so cute. These small figures. So I'm really happy to have some that are already done, already made. And I have in the box Space Marine that is not complete. He is, if you can see it, he's missing his arms. So I need to assemble that. But these figures are so cool. I'm really giddy about this. So it has a lot of loose parts in this box, a lot of necrons and space marines, and set pieces that have been pulled out, assembled, or just discarded. So that is the quick story about how I got into Warhammer. I think it's a combination between secondhand shopping, just being a total geek, a total nerd, and then having this ASMR channel. I think it all spun into being something that I got really excited about. So I keep, for my channel and for the sake of knowing the lore, I get more codexes secondhand whenever I find them to make videos on. But I really feel like the next big step in my Warhammer journey is starting to paint these figurines and having an army of myself. And maybe then I might find someone to game with in real life. Who knows? I really hope you enjoyed this video. It was not as long as my usual content, a little bit more ramble-ish, a little bit more of a chit-chat or story time, but I think it's good to break the usual content once in a while and having something more relaxed like this. I wish you all a wonderful weekend and a wonderful week. And I hope I will see you on Patreon on Wednesday or here on YouTube next Sunday. Love you guys so much.